everyone. Welcome back to the bridge course on mathematics, Vignan University. So, we have discussed several topics and now I came to you with a new topic, with a new application, with new energy. See, today we will discuss about the probability and statistics. So, how this is useful? What are the things we are learning in probability and statistics? How it is useful? What is the basic knowledge behind this, right? That we are going to discuss it. So after this completion of my lecture, you will be able to understand the basic definition of statistics, how many types of data, how do you collect the data, how many types of data and frequency, what is frequency distributions, all these things we will discuss. So what is statistics? There are various scientists, very many people, many scientists, they have defined in a different way to statistics. Let us see the definition of statistics. So, definition of statistics defined by many people, many mathematicians, many statisticians, many scientists. But in general, what exactly we do in statistics, I kept in front of you. So, statistics is a branch of science dealing with the collection of data. The first process we do in statistics is the collecting data. Organizing, summarizing, analyzing and presenting the data. See, we organize the data, we will summarize the data, what are the things I will tell you further. Analyzing the data, what we collected we will summarize, then we will analyze it. Presenting the data in a proper manner and drawing a valid conclusion out of it. And this helps us to make certain decision based on the data. So, all over if you see, we collect the data, analyze properly, draw a valid conclusion and take certain decision. This is the main aim of the statistics. So, there are various tools to collect the data, there are various tools to analyze the data, right? All these things we will be knowing slowly. So, here see, in other way, in general or in a precise manner, if I want to tell what is statistics. So, statistics is the art. It is art and the science of extracting answers from data. Extracting answers from data. We collect the data, we do something, we do some processing, right? And at last we get some data. For example, in your class there are two sections. In the sections, what is happening, right? Your teacher asked how many people got 90%, how many people got 80%, right? So what do? You give a list, 60 students in mathematics, how much mark you got, you given to your sir. So what happens? Sir will be seeing everything, each and everything one by one, right? And he need to sort out that who got more mark, who got less mark and everything. So which section is doing well, section A, section B, which section is doing well. It is a very difficult task to find out what is the performance of your section. What is the performance of your B section or another section, right? So, but if you analyze it, if you make it summary properly and you say that the average mark of our section is 98 and the average mark of the another section is 94. So, instead of looking at a whole data, if you precise it and say that the average marks in mathematics in our section is 98. And average mark of other section is 94. So, it's clear. We need not look at the whole data. Just if you say that 98% average, 94% average, anyone can draw a conclusion. What is the conclusion? Your section is better than the another section. Right? That is what I want to say. So, what we have used here? You use the average. We use the mean. That is what. So, there are certain tools by which we can draw some valid conclusion instead of looking at the whole data. So, whole data confuses us. So, the data will convert to the information and that it helps a lot too. So, statistics answer questions using data and information. That is what I told you now. It is a branch of science that deals with collection, compilation, we compile the data, analyze the data and numerical interpretation of the data. Right? Numerical interpretation, what are the data we collected? These are all numerical value. Right? I will tell you what is it. So, there are two types of statistics. One is descriptive statistics and another is inferential statistics. So in descriptive statistics, what happens? It includes graphical representation, numerical procedures, and that used to summarize the data and convert to information, right? I told you what is the difference between data and the information, right? So anything you get, right, one by one after another, right, without certain any rules, right? That is nothing but the whole thing you collect together. So which confuses, right? But from data we get everything. So we need to process the data, right? So processed data is nothing but your information. Is it clear, right? So inferential statistics, from the data we infer something, we predict something. And for that we have different types of tools, right? We use certain tools and we infer something, we predict something, we give certain conclusion, right? That is why this we call it as the inferential statistic. So out of this what you learn, one thing is data. Gather the data. That is very, very important thing, right? Because if you gather the wrong data, for example, when after the election, right, in TV what happens, they will give the exit poll. So exit poll, what happens? Some cases it's 90%, 98% true. Some cases it may fail even less than 50%. Why? Because it depends on the data. If you collect the data properly, places, right, different places you go and you collect the data, right? Particular place, reason, right, for what context you are collecting the data. These are all very, very important things, right? So data wrong means prediction will be wrong. So you should collect proper data. So from data we go to the information. If we process the data, for our understanding, it will become information. Now this information collection will become knowledge. How much information we acquire it, how much we percept, right? That is nothing but your knowledge. If you have all the information in your mind, obviously we are little knowledgeous. We are little more knowledgeous than others. So how much we have the information with us, right? That is nothing but the knowledge. So from knowledge it comes to the intelligence. Intelligence, what is it? This is a very, very important thing. Intelligence. Intelligence means what? Can you measure any intelligence? Never. So somebody is more intelligent than you. How somebody can tell you that you are more intelligent than him? We cannot measure it. Is it clear? But what is that intelligence? The ability of grasping the knowledge. The ability of grasping the knowledge is nothing but the intelligence. Is it clear? So intelligence connected to data, knowledge connected to data, information connected to data. So data is the raw material for doing any valid conclusion. Is it clear? So data is a very, very important thing. So now we got the data. I want to present in front of the people. So graphical representation, how do you graphically present all the data in front of the people so that they can understand pictorially without seeing the data what you have, right? So graphical representation or the presentation of data can be done in different graphs and charts, right? So frequency distribution data easily we can present in the form of graph and chart. So what are the advantages of presenting the data in form of graphs? Data are presented pictorially so that it gives a good look. People immediately, they impress by seeing the data. So give better insight and understanding of data. So you can understand very easily by seeing the data, by seeing the graph, you can understand very easily. In your college, if you go to any university, if your college, you will see different types of charts will be provided, right? For the sake of better understanding of the people, right? For example, if you go to any university, right? You come to our university, right? See how many people, 90% people got placement, right? 10% people, right, go for the higher studies. So if you show in a graph pie chart, right, 90%, 10%, you need not bother about everything. By seeing that, you get the clarity that what is happening, what is the data, what is the proper things are happening here. So it gives a better understanding to the people. Makes the presentation eye-catching. Immediately it will be attract, right? Something is there here. I need to see what is happening here, right? So data become more logical. It becomes more logically you are going to present it. It can drive conclusion from the data, right? Immediately you conclude, it's good, it's bad, right? It's average. So you can conclude certain things by saying that one. So reduce space for data representation. Instead of writing everything in the board, if I draw just simple a diagram, that is more than enough for your better understanding. So further processing become very easier. Further processing. Next, if you are going to process it, right? So you can get something and you can process it easily. So how many types of graphical representations are there? So we have bar diagram, we have histogram, we have frequency polygon, we have frequency curve, we have pie chart, right? Then is ogive curve. There are various way of presenting data graphically, right? I will see some of the graphs we use very frequently in our daily life. See, this type of data we call it as the bar diagram, right? This is the bar. So by saying that which one is good, which one is bad, which is increasing, which is decreasing, you can define very easily. This is also histogram, just like bar diagram, right? It's given class difference. And this is your pie chart, right? This is your pie chart. So based on this data, see, it will be very easy. I need not give whole data to you. If I present in front of you this type of data, then you can understand very well that what is happening, for what purpose I am doing this one, right? Okay. Now comes to application of statistics, right? Where we are going to apply it, how? So there are various branches of science and engineering where statistics is very, very essential, right? For example, statistics and planning. For any business purpose, right? Also use the statistics. So statistics facilitates comparison. For example, you want to buy a motorcycle. What do? Nowadays, it's become a habit to go to Google and search for new bikes, what is coming to the market, right? So you got 2-3 new model of bike. So what do? There is an option in comparison, compare. So based on the data or based on the features of that particular bike and this bike, we are comparing it. So there is a tool to compare and analyze which is good, which is bad, which is better, which is best, right? So all these things can be done, right? So in the formula of suitable policies maker, statistics can be formulated well in advance for prediction. Even we can predict, right? So monsoon is coming in, right, July 15 or June 15. People, they predict it because of the previous data. It's not that monsoon is coming and they will put the bell signal. Yeah, it's coming. So tell to the people, it's not like that. It's the data you collect and you predict for the future, right? If data is proper, it's not vulnerable, obviously you will get a good prediction, right? Okay. Next is statistics and economics. Price, demand and analysis, right? What is the demand? What is the demand of the people, right? What is the supply? What are the things you need to supply it? Analyze it and make a good decision for the future, right? Statistics and business, statistical forecasting, right? If I will invest today 1 lakh rupees, what will happen after 10 years? Right? This is nothing but the forecasting of your business, of your investment. So statistics and industry, quality control, how do you control the quality? Planning, we do plan it. Sampling, these are the different way we use statistics in industry. Statistics and biology, astronomy, medical science, everywhere, right? Like longevity period of the human being, right? Fertility, population, movement of stars by using least square method. This is also very important thing, right? We use in astronomy. And test of significance. These are the different tools we use, right, in different branches of science. So population, including the decreasing of birth rate. So all these things is measured by statistics. So statistics in psychology as well as in education, reliability factor, right? Reliability and factor analysis. Statistics and war, this is the decision theory we use in war analysis. For example, 108 million of people were killed in wars in the 20th century. Estimates for the total number of killed in wars throughout all of human history range from 150 million to 1 billion. So what happens? War has several other effects, right? On birth rate control, right? People become poor. It means that, financial condition will be low. All these things they can predict and they can come to the proper decision that war should happen or not. And how to control the war between the two countries. Is it clear? So these are the things also you can analyze by using statistical tools. So, but the limitation of statistics, what are the limitations? Is it clear? This is also a very important thing, we should know it. Statistic is not suited to the study of qualitative phenomena, because we collect quantitative data, right? And all the tools give you certain quantity, 2, 3, 500, 90, 60 like this, right? So qualitative analysis cannot be done by using statistical tools. That is the one drawback for it. Statistics doesn't study individual data cannot be studied by the statistics. We should get a population, right? Data for a particular population. Statistical laws are not exact. It differs from different population, right? Statistics is liable to misused. It can be misused by the people who are learned in statistics. See, statistics are like a clay, which one can make a god or devil as one pleases to make happy the others, right? You can make a god, you can make a devil by that particular clay. That is nothing but your statistics. So it's a very, very important science, branches of science, right? It makes miracle. But thing is that we should use properly. If you don't use properly, then everything will be destroyed. Because it has no security. We cannot control. Data can be taken by anybody. Data can be accessed by any one of these. And from that data, they can predict anything. So that is why we must have learned people to handle this data and use proper statistical tools to predict for the growth of the nation. That is a very important thing. Now, there are various courses nowadays coming up, right, where statistics became a main subject. So data science, data analytics, database management system, big data analysis, and many more, data mining. I have written some of it, but there are various courses are there where statistics became compulsory, and without statistics that cannot be done, right? Now see, how many types of data? Okay, we collect the data. The first process of statistics is collecting the data. So what type of data are there and how do you collect it? Yeah. So data can be classified in three ways. One is raw data, frequency data, class interval data, right? So if you don't arrange your data properly, the data is useless. So that is why we have classified like this. And arrangement of data, right, is very, very important. So raw data, what do you mean by the raw data? Any data taken without any order, obtained as a fast come, fast serve basis. It's called raw data. Whatever you are getting, somebody is telling, you are writing blindly and fill the page, right? That is nothing but the raw data. By seeing, you will get blind. We cannot predict anything. We cannot do anything for that particular data. That is nothing but your raw data, right? 12, 45, 39, 64, 102, 94, 36, 45, whatever the data you get, you write blindly, right? That's nothing but your raw data. Is it clear? Now, what is frequency distribution data? It is the arranged data. We are arranging in certain way. Summarized by distributing it with their frequencies. Frequency means how much time that particular data is coming repeatedly. That is nothing but the frequency. Is it clear? See here, I have given one example. This is the data and this is the number of times occurred, right? I have taken some data. In that particular data, 12 is coming 4 times, 16 is coming 6 times, 34 is coming 4 times, 45 is coming 2 times, 46, 10, 78, 7, 95, 2 times. So what I have done, instead of 12, 12, 12, 12, 4 times I need to write, I have written 4. So 12 is coming 4 times. Is it clear? So that is what. So little I am reducing my size, right? But I can understand very well. Instead of redundancy, duplicacy, we are writing in a proper way. In a table, this is data, this is the number of times occurred, or we call this one as your frequency. We call this as frequency. Right? So it's good, nice. As compared to the previous one, this is good. Anyone can understand that what is happening. 40 marks in your class, how many people got? 60 marks, how many people got? At last you can take the average very happily. Right? That is what? One type of arrangement. Right? Class interval data. So class interval data also again divided into two types. One is inclusive class interval, another is your exclusive class interval. What is class interval and what is inclusive, one is exclusive, let us know. What is exclusive? Class interval in the sense, let us take for example, I have taken the data from 1 to like that, many data are there, 30, 40 like that, it is up to 100. So I have seen that whatever the data I have taken, all those data are between 1 to 100. So what I'll do, I'll make it into class. Instead of writing everything, what I'll do, I'll make into certain class. 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, like that I can write, and I can take 90 to 100. So whole data I have converted into certain class. This is nothing but your class. So 1 to 10, how many people are there? I will write here. 10 to 20, how many people are there? I will write there. 20 to 30, how many people are there? I will write there, right? So this is nothing but the class distribution of the data. Is it clear? So from this class distribution, again we have seen that there are certain difference. What is it? So based on that, we have divided into two types. One is exclusive class interval, and another is inclusive class interval. Let us know what is exclusive. If the upper limit of a class is not included in its class interval, then this type of class interval is called exclusive. What is upper limit? I have taken 1 and 10. This is nothing but my class. So this 1 is called the lower limit. 1 is called the lower limit. And this 10 is nothing but we call it as the upper limit of the class. Right? So here what is 40, 50? So 40 is your lower limit of the class. 50 is the upper limit of the class. Is it clear? Now, is not included in its class interval. Which is not included? Upper limit is not included. Why it is not included? Let us see 50 here. 40 to 50. Again 50 is repeating here. So 50 if we include here, so yes, you should exclude it. And if you are excluding here, you should here include it. Otherwise there will be repetition. But if you are making such type of things, it gives a continuity in the data. So you have to exclude somewhere, you have to include somewhere. So here this upper limit is not included. What does it mean? Upper limit is not included means 40 to 50. When 50 comes, it is coming here. Any data belongs to 50 will not be included here. So up to which data? 40 to 49.9 we include here. Once it comes 50, that comes under the class 50 to 60. Is it clear? So the data which between 50 to 59.999, 59.99 comes under this class. So 60 to 69.99 will comes under this class. Is it clear? So this type of class we call it as exclusive class interval. Exclusive class interval. Is it clear now? So here 50 is not included here, but 50 is included here. So the data here 49.999 up to like this. So later it comes to this one. So here there is a continuity in class. Is it clear? Now see the another one. This is your exclusive. So this is inclusive class interval. Yeah, this is inclusive class interval, right? This is not exclusive. This is your inclusive class interval, right? From inclusive class interval, right? This is not exclusive. This is your inclusive. Exclusive we have discussed previously. So inclusive class interval. If the upper limit of a class is included in its class interval, then this type of class interval we call it as inclusive. It means here 49 is included. All the data from 40 to 49 itself is 20. Is it clear? So here we have included 49. 50 is included, 59 is included, 60 included, 69. Everything is included in this. Then what is the drawback of it? See here, I will tell you. Here there is no continuity. There is a missing, there is a break. So if somebody got 49.5 bucks, then where he will keep? Because 49 to 50 is missing here. Is it clear? So here you are losing the continuity. And if you are making this type of class interval, then there is a chance of losing some data between 49 to 50, 59 to 60, 69 to 70 and so on. If it is marks, it's okay. 49.50 we can round up to 50. But if it is $49.5 million, then can you exclude it? Impossible. So that is why for certain cases this type of class interval is not good to process. So that is why there is a provision to convert inclusive class interval to exclusive class interval, right? Let us know how to do this one. Conversion of inclusive to exclusive class interval, right? By using some adjustment factor. Is it clear? Now see here. Adjustment factor is nothing but difference between the upper limit of the first class and the lower limit of the next class. So, where there is a gap, 49 to 50, what is the gap? 1 gap. 50 minus 49, the gap is 1. So, 1 by 2 is nothing but 0.5. That is nothing but your factor. What factor? Adjustment factor. Is it clear? So, by using this adjustment factor, now we will convert this inclusive class interval to exclusive class interval. Now, subtract the adjustment factor from the lower limit and add to the upper limit to get the exclusive class interval. So, I have subtracted it. Previously, it was 40. 40 minus 0.5 is how much? 39.5. 49.5. 50 was there. I have subtracted 0.52. So, we got 49.5. So, 39.5 to 49.5. So, again 49.5 here. 59.5 here. 69.5 here. So, it maintains the continuity and it converted to exclusive class interval. So, here this 49.5 is excluded. That is why it is exclusive class interval. Is it clear? Right. So, that is the way we need to convert a inclusive class interval to exclusive class interval. This is very, very important. Why you are converting? Why you are converting? Because for inclusive class interval, we cannot use any statistical tool to predict something or to get some analyze, right? We cannot analyze something and take certain decision because there is missing some continuity. So that is why we always convert an inclusive class interval to exclusive class interval and then we use different tools to analyze the data. That is the advantage of converting this inclusive to exclusive. And in your problem, obviously, whatever we study in engineering or anywhere, everywhere we convert the inclusive class interval to exclusive class interval. So, we need to understand this process. That is very, very simple. I tell you, just take the difference, divide by 2 and add and subtract it. Is it clear now? Right. So, thank you very much. And further, some other clarification we will go for in the next class. Thank you.